Welcome back, folks. We're here at the desk. Another episode of the semifinals that we're coming out of into our first open bracket tournament that will eventually set the stage for the SPL. Now, we saw a couple of teams really duke it out, and two of those teams are going to fight right now in the semifinals.
Envo Clan versus Epiphany Gaming. It's a best of three as well. No more best of ones. We've gotten the teams whittled down here to the last four, and we're going to take a look at the bottom side of the bracket and get into picks and bans right away.
So we're going to take a look. We'll bring the brackets right up, and we'll talk about all the teams that really have sort of struggled or not struggled throughout the course of this contest. Of course, the two teams that we are going to be looking at are Envo Clan, the teams that Kevin and I just got to call a little bit before, and then we have Epiphany Bolt coming up, which everybody seemed to like JoJo, but really the top we haven't really spoke much about. Leftovers versus Peastress was a fun match. That was actually Badge's crew versus Durgius's crew.
Yeah, you know, Badger, after having been kicked off Fnatic, has kind of brought in a lot of inexperienced players that have, been very well-known in ranked play, maybe had a little bit of Challenger Cup, but, even Nika coming into the Soul Lane was actually a highlight star of the Combine just a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's a lot of players that he's going to have to teach and make ready for the SPL, and it starts here. He needs to win this open bracket.
I mean, he's trying to bottle a little bit of what we saw out of Pain to Beyond, and over in Europe, we saw that out of iRez as well, just sort of, trying to figure out, let's try to find some good players, let's hone our situations, and don't forget, I mean, iRez really did what he did with the Epsilon crew through the Challenger Cup, and then they joined the SPL. So Badger, maybe he'll be able to do that with the Leftovers. We'll see if he makes it to the finals. We'll be able to check out how that one goes against the winner of this one right here, Epiphany Bolt versus Envo Clan, and we'll see how well these guys go up against each other. As Kevin said before, it is a best of three, no longer one and done, and Epiphany Bolt have the first pick and ban, and they go for Athena.
So before we get into, analyzing the picks and bans, I just want to say that I feel like Epiphany Bolt has an advantage here.
All right, and why is that?
They have an advantage because obviously none of these teams are, official. None of them have icons, but Epiphany Bolt, our default icon is a bolt. It's a lightning bolt. That's like a passive bonus. They get like +5 damage on every player.
Does anyone else want to do this at all?
Probably actually +5 accuracy, because JoJowasTaken last game on his Hou-Yi was phenomenal. Like the kid hit the craziest bounce shots, and I'm really expecting some flavorful picks to come out from both of these squads. Kind of looking for comfort, and Hou-Yi is probably one of those that Epiphany will look to pick up sometime in this draft.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that, because Hayzer as well played that Hou-Yi in the game that we called when Envo Clan took the win against the Poppies. So both of these hunters are going to want the Hou-Yi. Ravana gets picked up by Epiphany Bolt. Now, this is a character that transformed. Last year, we just didn't see him.
He went Super Saiyan.
This year, he's literally our first pick here in the semifinals.
He went Super Saiyan. He's so strong. Has a lot of control, 4 abilities that scale, I believe, at 85% plus off of your physical power, as well as an immunity that also does damage. He kind of has it all. And on the other side, though, Envo Clan, they're going to draft into the same style of composition that they did.
Not just the same style, it's the same two picks.
The same picks. It's the Geb and Thor. A lot of these frontline, and Kalas, played phenomenally. He was the star of the game. Obviously, the Agni got the MVP, but for me, it was the Geb.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of good work out of Kalas and Deathwalker for what it's worth. Now, this is going to be an interesting matchup, because we have Deathwalker in the jungle. It's going to be playing on that Thor. And then on the side of Epiphany Bolt, their support player is DeathPanter. So we'll see how this one goes.
We're not shorting either of them to death. We got to go Panther and I don't know, man. We'll figure it out. Chiron locked in for Epiphany Bolt, so not looking for that Hou-Yi. They also have the Isis for a lot of early game aggression, and Envo Clan are going to draft the exact same composition they did in the round of 16. They lock in the Bellona for no numbers in the Soul Lane. He played very well with that, and he's going to have it again.
It was just so strong. Not the Bellona pick necessarily, although that was strong and fine and dandy, but just the composition. The team played so well, Envo, and I mean, if you asked me, if you've heard me, I always go, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Envo Clan, they won the last game with about 15 to 20,000 gold up. I don't think there's anything broken over there. So as we take a look at the bans, Global, draw off the table. No Giannis, says Epiphany Bolt.
Envo Clan looking to target out the supports here.
Oh, yeah.
They're Epiphany, they banned out Athena early on, and then Envo Clan, they draft the Geb, and they're like, well, if you still haven't picked your supports, we're going to take away some of the other high-tier gods, and they lock away Aiurz and Ymir, and Epiphany Bolt, they're going to be targeting the mid player. And so now that Agni's still available for Envo Clan. JustJack played so well in his last game on, and I expect him to pick it up again. And Hayzer, literally, Envo Clan are going to have the same composition. If they go Agni, it's the exact same composition. It's the exact same picks and bans.
We'll see how it works out. I mean, Hou-Yi, I like the choice of Hou-Yi here because Epiphany Bolt has already shown their hand. They're like, look, we don't want to give Giannis or Nox over to the mid laner. So Envo Clan, they take their Hunter. That, as we said, both of these players are going to be, both of these players want to play the Hou-Yi. And what this does is Envo Clan, Scylla is still on the table. JustJack, JustJack, the captain, has a great Scylla. So we'll see if Envo Clan rounds up this draft with that character.
I actually really like Scylla as well, especially with the Envo Clan setup for her. They have the Bellona ult to stun players. They have Thor ult, Thor wall, Geb knock up, Geb ult. They have really 5 major setups to find the Scylla ultimate, but it looks like Envo Clan instead, they're going to go with the same comp. They're like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Envo Clan played so well against the Poppies, and they're going to run the same thing again.
3 games as well, or 2 if you are going to be the teammate of the winner of the first game, is what we're going to be seeing here. So, also, by leaving the Scylla off the table, Epiphany Bolt doesn't ban it, but they ban 2 other mages. Maybe they don't know how good JustJack is at that Scylla.
I'm assuming they didn't watch the earlier games or know exactly how they went.
So Envo might be saving that for if they lose this game, coming back in game 2. Who knows? Best of 3s are so much more different than single game excursions. So we'll take a look at how Epiphany Bolt takes on Envo Clan here. Epiphany in the blue, Envo in the red, and Ravana is going to be who we start off with. And nothing too crazy there, starting off with the Bluestone into the boots.
Pretty standard coming out from Ravana. He's going to be in the solo lane matched up against No Numbers. I'll be interested to see how exactly this pans out for him because he actually got really bullied last game. I think he had 3 deaths in the first 4 to 5 minutes against the Hopwa and really fought back into it. Fantastic rotations coming out from the solo laner. And now he's going to go up against a Bellona who, like we said in our last match, doesn't have a lot of 100-0 kill potential. More the kind of, I'm going to chase you down and you're not going to be able to get away from me kind of style. So a much safer lane, I would say. A much less worrisome lane coming out for this solo laner.
Not a lot of bursts to be really looked at here. And Chiron is going to start by looking directly at the ward that Envo Clan has placed. And what that ward does is it allows Envo Clan to do what they did in the game that we saw 2 games ago, is take out these mid camps by themselves. So left and right mid Harpies go directly to Envo Clan, and it throws a monkey wrench in Epiphany Bolt's plan.
You can see that, and that's honestly wasted time. They're going to get a little bit late to their back piggies here, and you can see the red was just finished by Hayzer and Kayla's up top, and now they're going to hit level 2 off of their pigs. They'll be a little bit late to lane, but you do expect them to kind of get outpushed by the Chiron and Sobek, and that's something to note here too, is this Geb and Hou-Yi don't really have a lot of kill potential unless Epiphany Bolt really mess up in lane. However, they can get picked very easily against the Sobek, and if you compare that also with a knockback from Chiron, a player can go from their tower to the midpoint of the lane, and then they're just out of position. You can already see the zoning coming out from Epiphany Bolt. I love this play.
Yeah, just immediately starting off with the starvation of the XP now. It's worth noting that you're right. Envo Clan doesn't have a way. They don't have a Sobek pluck. They don't have a way to force the enemy into the wrong position. But if Sobek misses that pluck, he can die. There's a lot of disruption by way of the knock-up out of the Gab and the stun out of the Hou-Yi as well. So this is a punishing lane, not a lane that will be looking to make the advance early on.
Something to note here for this direct Ravana versus Bellona matchup is that Ravana can actually bait No Numbers heavily here. If he actually goes to the side of the wave and makes Bellona try and hit the bludgeon on him, he can overhand kick it every single time, get a little bit of poke, and avoid all that damage. You can see No Numbers has to focus on the wave, but good play from him, and Ravana going to be a little bit behind in XP and get pressured out by Bellona. Not too much surprise.
One of the big things about this matchup as well is going to be that Scourge or the Disarm.
Yes.
Ravana is very much an in-hand character, and while Prana Assault is going to do a lot of damage to help clear the wave, he's going to be dishing out a lot of basic attacks. And it seems like a small window that there is no damage coming out of the Ravana, but those small windows is really what the solo lane is all about.
Ravana just going to be farming up for now, and I don't expect either of these players to take a spill early on, but Ravana will get pressured out. Both players electing to go into the teleport relic early, and there it is, the overhead kick. Just going to put out a little bit of poke from No Numbers and back off there, but actually Ravan was winning in the potion war. You can see he has 4 multi-pots, 2 health potions left, where No Numbers only has 1 of each.
So that matchup will continue to go in that direction,
It's eventually going to go in Ravan's favor once the potions run out.
So it's all about how long can those potions actually last. A little scary from the Sobek, and the punishment was not ready to be given as the jump out of Hou Yi was forced out. So a little defensive is how Envo Clan is feeling in the long lane. Meanwhile, the ultimate is online for our junglers. So look out for surprise Thor gangs and some Fear No Evils.
And you can see Epiphany Bolts don't know the exact timer. They have a rough estimate of when those mid camps are coming up, but they don't know the exact second that they were taken. And iSilenced really wants to try and contest those, but hasn't been in position. And he's kind of just roaming into this jungle with nothing to do for now. And DeathPanter has found a slight experience lead. And you can see right there, does red buff. Both mid Harpies going to be taken by Envo Clan. They have the timers. They have full control of it, and they're abusing it.
I mean, you got to think about that. So Epiphany Bolt don't have the timers for the mid camps, but they have the timers for the red camps.
They should have had the timers for the mid camps.
Exactly.
It's a 3 minutes. Like, they took it within the first 10 seconds. You got to have the timers. Exactly. You can see iSilenced walks over there, checks it, nothing in position. He has to back off. No wards on the map for either team right now. You could expect to see some ganks, and I think this is the perfect time. You can already see blue team.
Yep.
They're focusing on stealing away this red.
Sobek by himself, but here comes the help from mid in the jungle. So now there's 4 players from Epiphany Bolt here, but Thor's in the air looking for a target to single out. And look at that. I love the spread from Epiphany. Jumped out of the way. Great play. Coming out of iSilenced, and now everybody's looking at DeathPanter. Down goes the Sobek for the first blood, going the way of Envo Clan.
Hayzer, perfect bounce combination there. Finds the stun onto Sobek, and then it bounces back and double taps him. And then a great job from Envo Clan as a whole to focus him out. The burst came through. Make sure you secure that first blood, and Envo Clan, they find themselves about 1,000 gold in the lead for now.
Yeah, Epiphany Bolt, they went for it, but unfortunately did not have the tools needed. Sobek was, and a lot of that, so Sobek was just kind of sitting by himself for a while in that little pit of the red buff, waiting for his team to either, it looked like they were waiting for the call to come rather than actually committing, and I think that little hesitation is what spelled trouble for Epiphany Bolt, which is a problem going forward in this game, because, do you remember the game that we watched before, Kevin? There was no hesitation from Envo. They were very quick on their decision makings, whether it was objectives or fight.
They got like the 4-man wipe at Fire Giant. Didn't even think about Fire Giant. All players went to the tier 1 tower. They're a unit. This is a very strong squad, and Epiphany Bolt, they're going to have to be careful. Doomorb is online for this Agni in the mid lane. No boots for him, so he does need to be careful about his positioning, but you can see that Geb right next to him. And he did such a great job against the Poppies to make sure to keep his carries online, and I expect a lot from this player.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the Agni, Agni's a character that you can get away with not building boots on first, because one, you have the Geb, right? You got a stun to help yourself out, and most importantly, that dash. As long as you use the dash defensively, you're pretty much all good. We all know that siren that goes off when an Agni dashes offensively, so I don't think we'll see too much out of that out of JustJack. He seems to be the real focal point of this squad.
I agree here, and already stacking up that Doomorb in the meantime. Isis hasn't backed at all. She has a lot of self-sustain in her kit, obviously, but I would have liked to see her back a bit earlier. There it is. Doomorb's now online. Does she have enough for any boots? It looks like she's waiting to finish something off. It's just going to be the boots one. Okay, so nothing too big there. Oh, look at this, though.
Ooh, Thor's up in the air, and here comes Hou Yi looking for one single player, and it's going to be both into the stun, double dead. Death takes out Death. That's hilarious. And the Chiron is going to walk out of the backside. So Chiron just sort of looked at his Sobek and said, look, dude, I'm out.
It was actually the Geb who knocked him back. I mean, that was a little bit of a misplay. And honestly, he might get knocked to the tower. No, but he will get walled off from escape. He's going to charge through, but it's just a matter of time before someone finishes him off. And a couple more autos. He's not even going to waste his ult. I like this decision. Knows he doesn't want to put it on cooldown. There's no way he's finding a kill. There's no way he's getting out of this.
Death on the side of Epiphany Bolt means 3 kills for Envo Clan, 0 for Epiphany. Have yet to find a kill is the blue squad. They do get those mid Harpies, though, so finally.
They're really not far behind, though.
No, not at all.
It's like 600 gold. Yeah, 800 gold. They gave up first blood. The game's dead even, basically. Small experience lead, and most of that has come from the soul lane. No Numbers has been about a level ahead for most of the game, although they're even right now. And you can see Axioz getting pressured out. There's the overhead kick to avoid the bludgeon, and he's just going to be forced back here soon. His teleport's off cooldown relatively in about a wave. Yeah, 13 seconds.
Very soon. So he'll be able to back right here, and He'll be able to teleport in time, and Bellona, worth noting as well, teleport is up, but not opting to go back to base, so we might see that cross-map teleport come out from Bellona if needed, and now would be the time, because Robin's teleport's on cooldown, Bellona's is not, which means if Bellona makes that cross-map teleport, Robin can't follow.
And something to note, too, that I haven't really seen anyone wholly abuse is we talk about relics again, where you can get them at level 1, and they're basically the rank 3 actives from last season. We haven't seen a soul laner really abuse that early on.
How do you mean?
2 to 3 minutes in, you have your teleport up, you could take a trip to dual lane, you could force a fight, you could teleport behind. And that's something I think teams should be looking at, is making sure you have the wards and just have your soul laner. If the other soul laner backs, yeah, he'll lose a little bit of farm because the other soul laner will get a free wave or two, but you have the potential to really open up the map and gank and invade the other lanes, and I would like to see that utilized a little bit more.
I think we'll see that, Kevin, out of some of the more
tenured squads.
More tenured squads, sure, but I think we'll see that out of teams that have the capability of taking out these early gold furies specifically. I think we might be able to see some of the early solo lane rotations for this reason. And Envo Clan, I mean, they just don't need it this game. They take out the gold fury absolutely for free. No one from Epiphany Bolt even aware that that was going on until it was too late. So Envo Clan take the first real lead of the game, 1,800 gold in their favor.
Pretty sure Envo Clan was just sleeping there. No one was on the map outside of the soul laner.
Yeah.
You kind of saw the Thor, and the Thor was literally standing there 2-zone. Like, he had no benefit of standing there just to try and poke. And Epiphany Bolt, they just fall asleep and miss a gold theory. That's not very good for them. I
mean, again, look at the vision, or rather, lack thereof. There just isn't any vision.
But that's the thing, right? If you have no vision on the map, and there's no players in a lane, my first assumption is, oh man, they're starting up gold theory. But I mean, they realized it when the gold theory was already done. They're like, oh man, they could be.
There's only so many places to be on the map, right? Either you're in my lane, you're back at base, or you're getting pushed into your fountain. Great jump away again. iSilenced has a fantastic reaction time. Unfortunately, he's not been able to translate that into offense, but he has avoided all of these Thor stuns, and he has yet to become a casualty like the rest of his team.
Purification on 160-second cooldown, something that I think Envo Clan are going to take note of. Left-hand side, though, Harpies are going to spawn, and Epiphany Bolt, they're not going to give these up for free. They're actually going to start it. They know Thor ult's down. They know that they have the chance to re-engage, but in the meantime, it's No Numbers getting surrounded by 3 members, and he's actually going to get rooted out. Deathwalker finds Panther over on the left-hand side, and now No Numbers, he's going to be forced back. He has Eagle's Rally, though. He should be just fine.
And that's honestly really unfortunate for Epiphany Bolt. They kind of needed to get that kill.
I agree. The Chiron and Sobek committed to the left-hand side. They wanted to contest, but that was just so awkward.
To me, honestly, that's a situation where everything goes to the wall. You throw everything out. Unfortunately, no ultimate from Batz. You get an ultimate onto that Bellona, I think that's a kill. But they wanted to keep it, we've got 3 people on 1, we can get the kill, no problem. Unfortunately, being a little too safe this time hurt them.
4 kills on Envo Clan, 3 deaths on DeathPanter, and a single one on Chiron. Epiphany Bolt's dual lane has really been lacking this game. You can see 500 gold down is the Sobek, and about 1,000 gold down is this Chiron. That's honestly most of their lead. Most of Envo Clan's lead is in the dual lane. I would like to see Envo and Kayla start making some big rotations like we saw when they faced the Poppies here, and just utilizing the fact that they have more damage. They're a little bit tankier to their advantage.
And not for nothing, 50 stacks on both of the mages, but I'm looking at specifically this Agni. This is where we're just 11 minutes in. It's still a young game, but this is where Envo Clan can really transition into this and force this mid game.
Oh, Envo, they're baiting it just like you called. Thor takes to the sky. He's gonna miss, and looks like just a general disengage from him, but it's a blink in by iSilenced. He finds 3 in the Fear No Evil, and Deathwalker flung back. JoJo locks the kill down over the top. No Numbers locks 3 in place, but it's the Chiron shooting through this team fight, and now it's all going in favor of Epiphany Bolt. 2 are dead, and now JustJack surrounded by 3. The Geb shield comes through, but it's not going to be enough. The dash isn't up in time, and it's a 3-for-0 in favor of Epiphany.
And that right there is a story of Smite specifically. That was a fantastic decision by Envo Clan. Great timing, great everything except for mechanics. They just missed everything, Kev.
Unfortunate.
They missed the Thor ult. They missed the Agni stuns.
The Agni bombed first. Hit the Isis, missed the following two, then the Thor misses, and you can see him dash out. And fantastic play from iSilenced as well to blink into there, find the 3, and then immediately turn his focus to the player that was pushed more towards his team.
Exactly. I mean, those are the big plays that we always mention, the mentality and the intangible and the stuff that doesn't make it on the scoreboard. But that right there is proof of the pudding. I mean, that was a fantastic play coming out from Epiphany Bolt, and look at what they're turning it into. Now they're really taking advantage, and they're pushing down onto this dual lane. They have this momentum.
Chiron trying to run back, and actually Hayzer somehow escapes that. He's on one hit, and what looked like a very good fight for Epiphany Bolt turned sour.
I take that back, my friend. That looked like it had Epiphany's Bolt name all over it. And somehow Envo just comes around and gets Hayzer out of trouble, which really was I don't understand.
Tier 1 taken, Tier 2 being pressured on, but Envo right now don't have the damage, and they're going to have to back off. But that was just unfortunate for Epiphany Bolt. They couldn't seem to lock down. It almost seems like they didn't want to full commit onto the Hou-Yi because they knew players were rotating in, and the Hou-Yi somehow escapes death. And now the game that was dead, even Envo Clan starting to take a lead again. There's the Agni dash. Robin going to root him in place, and the spear ball across will help lock him down.
Use the overhead kick to avoid the stun out of Agni that time around, which really opened up that kill for him. And Epiphany Bolt now making the rotation. And this game is going to have to be driven by Axioz. The team isn't like out of it. They're only down 1,000, Kev. But Axioz, the solo laner, is really going to have to put in work to change this. And it's exactly what the team is doing onto this Gold Fury. Immediately goes for it. That'll tie the game up, but Thor's in the air, and there's Fear No Evil. That'll shove Geb out to the right-hand side. Down comes Thor. Where's he going to land, though? Safely. The Geb was done. If he came crashing back in there, the Geb was still dying, and he only risked himself getting picked. I love the decision to go up in the air, and I like the decision to realize he can't fight into that even better. Unfortunately for them, Epiphany Bolt, they get that Gold Fury, bringing the game back to even, and then also find a pick on that Geb, and now they're just pressuring into the jungle, just trying to take every advantage they have. You can see Chiron 2 levels down, really needs to start finding some experience to keep up with this OE. And that invade was a good start, getting those pigs down for the count. Definitely a way to get right back into the game. Let's take a look at iSilenced. Did a pretty standard build coming out from him. Boots into Jotun, and then likely to be either a Deathbringer or a Malice, depending on how good at math he is.
I really want to see what second active this Isis picks up. Will it be the team fighting Shell, or is it going to be a Sanctuary just to keep herself alive? And it will be the Sanctuary. Wants to make sure she has all the protection she can, and honestly, especially against all these players on Envo who have such high potential to dive her, right? You have the Geb with the blink. Thor obviously can get to the backline very easily, and then Agni can bomb her from over the top. And then No Numbers as well, a very strong front line that can body and zone out the hard carry. So it's a good look.
I do enjoy the pickup as well. Taking a look at Epiphany Bolt. There's JoJo again. He played so well on that Hou-Yi last match, trying to channel some of that energy into the Chiron. He's had an unfortunate start, I would say. Didn't really have the success we saw last game, but the turnaround is definitely pretty real. Around 13 minutes, Epiphany Bolt sort of started to swing things in their favor.
I mean, the game's dead even at this point. It's like a 600 gold lead.
Yeah.
Deathwalker gonna try and poke out Robin here, but Robin's pretty tanky. He's actually gonna see 4 members rotate just to try and stop him, and he's going to do more damage to this Bellona than he's taken from 3.
Everybody left. Agni's here, and that might change
They're scared.
things,
it's a Robin. The dude has 4 abilities that all have like 85% power scaling.
And looking at the build, there's no power. So
he doesn't even need it. His 4 abilities. They're all low cooldown too, man.
We're seeing this Urchin so much more now. The item has changed a little bit. Basically, the initial purchase is a little less valuable, but the stacks mean more. So I expect to see a lot of this Urchin because it's one of the few items that balance both physical and magical pretty well. And right now, No Numbers might have been wanting a couple more stacks on that Urchin since Monkey comes over the top.
Chain CC. That was perfect play. Robin roots him in place, and before the Bellona can dash away, you see the silence come out. And now Envo, as their jungle's getting stolen away, you can see them want to try and fight, but can't find anyone. Tier 2 being pressured on the right-hand side, and this Agni looping out in the jungle here. But look at the ward vision coming out from Epiphany Bolt. No one's going to surprise them from behind.
The play here coming out from Epiphany Bolt as they're pushing on the right tower, it almost, they don't realize it's only 16 minutes. That Sobek can't take the tower. He's level 12. Both of these teams have been pushing this game as if it's so much later in the actual game. Tier 2
both
pushes
teams
on the
have
left.
pressured a Tier 2
Yeah,
tower.
that's what I'm saying. Tier 2 push on the left-hand side, Tier 2 push on the right-hand side, and then, you know, you take a couple of those tower shots and you realize, hey, wait a second, I literally just have breastplate.
Sobek looking for a pluck, doesn't find it. Hayzer dashes away, but that's down. And now it's Envo Clan who want to fight. Thor takes to the sky. Geb blinks in, but they're holding. They're waiting for the perfect engagement. And there it is, Thor going on Deathwalker. There's Sanctuary, and now Red Team just trying to back off.
Ravana by himself, though, trying to find a target. Now focusing on to Thor. Here comes the backside ultimate out of the Fear No Evil. Not quite enough as Thor gets out of there, but here comes Sobek. Ultimate out of Aiurz is going to pop onto Kaliz, and the toss back onto Bellona. Damage coming out, and she will fall, but she's healing. Not enough. 8 kills on the side of Epiphany.
The overhead kick keeps Ravana alive. You could see Agni doing so much damage, has almost a full stack Doom Orb and Pin Boots, but he just can't lock anyone down, and he focused on the Ravana there, who was one hit. Great play by them, and you know, as a whole right now, Epiphany are playing so well, fighting inside the Ice Assaults. They hurt Thor go in the air at the start of that. They completely back off and disengage. They make sure that Envo are going to waste as many ultimates as they can before Epiphany forces the fight. JustJack kind of caught. I don't know. He was just alone.
I mean, they were backing. Envo was backing, and that was dangerous but relatively safe. He was the last one to back. Unfortunately, he's the one that's carrying the Doom Orb. You know, this game is so much different when there's a Doom Orb in the game, because don't forget, Doom Orb, it's an item that gives you tons of power, but when you die, it gets cut in half. So now that single kill out of the mage means so much more than it used to.
Chiron coming through to this team fight. Hayzer's on one hit. Sobek's going to lock him down, and now it's Geb. Cataclysm on 3. Shield on himself, but there's the Fear No Evil forcing him away. Beautiful. Now DeathPanter off of death. He's going to miss his ultimate, and now 3 people grouped up. The bludgeon hits them, and it's going to be silenced to fall. No Numbers picks up the double kill. Isis low, and right now No Numbers is just face tanking everyone, and Deathwalker, he can't get in because this Ravana is just unkillable, it seems. Look at him! The overhead kick actually secures a kill. DeathPanter finds Isis in the back line, and now JustJack will dash aggressively. And it's just this Ravana still on half-life. He's fighting for people. He may honestly be able to turn this, and the Geb is going to be the first victim. One more hit, there's the shield, and finally, it looks like he's gone. Are you serious, man?
Ravana picks up 1 before he gets forced into the ground by JustJack, as the mid laner finds his 2nd kill of the contest. 2, 3, and 3 for the Agni. But it's all tied up here, folks. 11-11 read the kills. Epiphany have a slight lead by way of gold by about 1,500 to be specific. Really, though, I mean, 1,500 is one of those, we call it a lead. They're ahead. But when it comes to momentum, I mean, this is an even game, Kev.
Yeah, the 1,500 gold is a lead at, 5 minutes. At 20 minutes, it's depending on your wards and, a couple Tier 1 items.
It's 300 gold per play.
Hey, man.
You're looking at 2 sentry wards,
Hey,
which right now Envo has certainly put the money in. They've got a sentry ward on the Fire Giant, and Envo Clan.
That was very early Suns. I'm very surprised that Hayzer used that early. It's going to get the damage
They're trying to burst.
half, and now, honestly, if Epiphany Bolt can read this, and yeah, Sobek dashes in, Kayla's on half-life, JustJack a little bit low, there's Sprint, and that was very awkward for Envo Clan, and now that Epiphany Bolt, no, they're going to come back in, but it's actually going to be Sobek locked in place. There's the Bulwark Pop. He's just going to try and disperse the fight, but not enough, and Epiphany Bolt, we saw Sobek force Envo Clan off that Fire Giant, but then no one else from Epiphany rotated in. They all went and did, like, back harpies and, like, a wave.
Silence got those mid harpies. Listen, Envo Clan got them both at the beginning. Silence is just trying to catch up in those mid harpies. He wants them all. So Silence is going to get both rights and lefts.
You see Crit coming out online for him as well. So no defensive items, which is the big question that junglers have coming into mid-game is like they'll go their boots, they'll get their Yoins, and then do they want to transition into a frontline item or go for the more damage? You'll see like the Thors typically go defensive, but Gold Fury started up. There's a Kayla blinking in, Epiphany Bolt fighting it, and it looks like now they're just going to back off.
Yeah, Fear No Evil does the job to disperse the enemy and make everybody want to walk on home. So Gold Fury taken by neither team, or rather Gold Fury taken by Epiphany Bolt after that exchange, and Envo Clan get nothing off of it. So the 1,500 gold lead, maybe that's a lead at 5 minutes. But right now, 22 minutes into this game, the 4K gold lead is definitely very real. Epiphany Bolt get their first foot onto the ledge, looking to climb up even more.
Dude, how are you going to kill this Ravana? I'm dead serious. Coming into right now, He doesn't have a single magical defense item, so a lot of it's going to be relying on JustJack to do the damage, but he just can't. Yeah, it's okay, but JustJack is going to have the best chance at killing this Ravana, and right now, he can simply overhead kick and avoid so much damage, and just look at this. Sprint forced for no numbers for basically the Frostbound Hammer, and that's a 140-second cooldown that, you know, Envo Clan won't have anymore.
It's just too much coming out from this Ravana. The curse as well is
you have to ban Ravana.
Oh, look at that cute little play coming out from the Isis. Gets the stun on the Geb so that the basics can come out of the Isis to kill the ward right there. Love the smaller plays when it comes to ward division.
Fire Giant being circled around by Epiphany. They have full momentum, about a 4,000 gold lead as well, and now no numbers, no sprint either, and he's just going to get poked down by this Ravana. I mean, he's getting forced out. Here's JustJack, going to be trying to do a little bit of damage. Very early overhead kick, but I mean, Ravana doesn't care. Silence comes over the corner, and there's a Fear No Evil, and no numbers is locked down.
Well, there's some damage from Thor, but a quick ultimate sends Ravana going the opposite way. 4 members of Envo Clan now have the sprint activated, looking for Epiphany Bolt. Here comes DeathPanter doing what he's supposed to, knocks the enemy away, and creates enough space for his teammates. Great play coming out from Sobek.
I really like that. And now DeathPanter, he's rotated back in. There's the curse, and he's going to find Thor flung back. Nice Geb shield, though. No CC coming out.
There's a double stun. Epiphany Bolt have the footing. They have the positioning for Fire Giant should they choose to start it. I mean, you're looking, Thor's going to be backing, and his ultimate's down. Now is when Epiphany wants to start it. But Envo Clan, they're not amateurs. They're not new to the game, we should say. So they definitely understand that this is the play that Epiphany Bolt want to make. There goes Kala, right in the between, and JoJo just takes out Kala, no problem.
JustJack, no dash available. We're going to see Thor take to the sky, Sanctuary used, and now Ravana's just going to chase down JustJack. I don't see much of him living, and there's the overhead kick to avoid Thor's stun, and now Thor, no hammer available. His Sanctuary's just going to keep him alive for about half a second. Doesn't even matter if he has his bulwark. There now is no numbers over the top, and honestly, somehow Thor has lived, and Chiron can't find the ultimate, but it's still Epiphany Bolt in full control of this team fight.
Yeah, Hayzer before dropped the Suns and sent everybody packing. I referenced that it was similar to a Fear No Evil. Everybody ran out of it. This time, everybody ran into it. Nobody really minded the damage coming from the Suns out of the Hou Yi. So Epiphany Bolt just goes all in, and eventually they do get the Thor.
So what happens there is actually Thor hammers over, and he could have reacted to the Hunbat's jump in a normal situation, but his hammer was still in the rock wall, so he couldn't teleport. He needed about half a second more for the hammer to finish going out. And now No Number is going to be trying to stop this Fire Giant. A lot of players low. Fully charged Knight's Assault will secure it, and Epiphany Bolt now extend their lead to 6,000 gold and a Fire Giant buff in tow.
So with this lead, Epiphany Bolt, they got to look at where to go. We'll take a look at player damage at the moment, and are you surprised?
No. He has like...
You almost sound aggravated.
Yeah, I am. He has one offensive item basically, right, which is boots.
Frostbound hammer counts.
But it's like a mix, right? Frostbound is definitely offensive, but it's also a mix because it gives you 300 health.
It's a hybrid item.
So he makes himself even more tanky. He has no true offensive item outside of power boots. And top damage. And just chases people down and doesn't die. I love Ravana, man. That's why you first pick him. You got to ban him.
I wish we had a caster. I wish we had a camera on our caster sometimes. Not me.
No, let's go to Ravana. Like highlight Ravana real quick. I want people to know. Let's highlight all his abilities real quick. Prana hands. All right.
95.
95. Let's do overhead kick. 70%.
On a defensive ability.
Yep. 50. Okay, that's 55. That's not super high. And then the ultimate also scales at 100%. But guess what? 4 abilities that do damage and also scale very well.
I mean, really, it's most of the characters.
Oh, he's actually unkillable now. He just picked up Mantle of Discord.
I mean,
like he's not dying.
To be fair, Bastet also scales at 100%, right?
3 abilities, though, that are like hit, right? The cats are never guaranteed. You can guarantee all of Ravana's hits. Sure. And also, he's tanky.
Yeah, he's tanky, which is really the question. And as we see, the Hunters have built Chinsai. Maybe that's a direction that the rest of the team wants to go in, looking to directly take care of this Ravana.
Epiphany Bolt, they're going to take their lead and start clearing out these towers. I don't expect them to force a Phoenix yet. I think it's intelligent to take all the free gold on the map. I actually don't even want to see them force a Phoenix. I think they should take the last tower and then the Gold Fury. If they could find a pick, get it, but don't force it.
There's 10,000 gold in a Fire Giant on this lead, Kevin. Go for the Phoenix, go big, or go home. I mean, they're doing it.
I mean, now is the time. 2 ultimates forced, and Here it comes, no numbers, trying to zone out DeathPanter. He's going to go under the water, but not enough. And honestly, that's 2 ultimates forced out of Envo Clan. Now you could start looking for it, especially considering you still have this Batz ultimate. Try and force a purification sometime.
There's a counter initiation coming out from Kala. He's going to get 2 people stunned, but he's going to get himself murdered. ISIS on the good end of that exchange. No numbers finds himself about 25% HP as well. Meanwhile, Epiphany Bolt diving deep into the base. Very low is Batz. He's going to be out of this fight. Toss back Bellona right into the damage out of ISIS one more time. 2 kills in this exchange go to the mid laner for Epiphany Bolt. The mid Phoenix has fallen. The left Phoenix is being looked at. 2 players from Envo can play defense, but it's just not enough. Left Phoenix goes down thanks to the help of the Hunter.
Unfortunately for Kayla, got bursted and locked down inside that ISIS ultimate at the stop, and in the same time, no numbers. CC chained out, he has no purification, so we couldn't see the Eagles rally come out until the fight was basically over.
Yep.
And it was used to try and lock down iSilenced on that Batz, but his beads were still up, his purification were still up. He simply popped that and escaped out. That was a clean fight for Epiphany Bolt, and now they found 2 Phoenixes. They're going to find the Gold Fury, and let's take a look at Golden Hand. I'm assuming there's a lot of players with nearly 2,000. Yeah, almost everyone 2,000. 4,000 for this ISIS. 4,000 gold.
She's been on vacation for the whole game. Picks up a hot Ratatouille.
And it's going to start Spear of Desolation, I'm assuming? Or maybe go into the defensive item.
Maybe even Gem of Isolation. As you mentioned, Kevin.
Oh no, she just full bought a Tahuti.
Yeah, as a full Tahuti and going into a Soul Reliquary, which is going to be a Reaver.
Yeah, her Spirit Balls. You could see, just in that last engagement when they were sieging left-hand side, Spirit Ball over the wall hits Deathwalker, who has a Bulwark of Hope, and chunked him for about 15 to 20%.
The Spirit Balls out of ISIS
it's gonna start wrecking anyone with no magical protection. If she can find that on JustJack or on Hayzer, who don't have any protections, like that's at least half their life, at the very least.
Do you want to see a Reaver on Envo Clan to take care of this Ravana?
I just want to see them not focus Ravana at all and just like try and ignore him.
But see, that's the thing. If you try and ignore him, he's going to get a pentakill.
It's like you have to all in the Agni. For Envo Clan, what they need to do is they need to all in the 2 hard carries. They need to lock down the ISIS, they need to lock down the Chiron, and then focus on the tankier targets.
Well, right now they're focusing on no numbers, and Epiphany Bolt going to put him right into the ground.
Now, Tier 2 going to be taken. DeathPanter going to be on zoning duty for now on that Fire Giant. It's going to be up here in 10 seconds. You can see Epiphany Bolt focusing on that. All they need is 1 or 2 players to play zone duty, and this should be free.
There it is. Just spawns. Raven's going to start the assault alongside the rest of his team. 4 players on top of the Fire Giant. 5 with Chiron here. Nobody from Envo Clan can even come close because they have to defend their base. So with everybody trying to take care of those fire minions, now there's going to be some fire giants coming down the lane, and Envo Clan trailing by 1,600 gold. Really need to find a way to really stop this defense, but or stop this onslaught. But at the end of the day, Kevin, this might be the beginning of the end for the Red Squad.
I think the beginning of the end happened when Robin was locked in.
All right, this might be the middle of the end, okay?
No, this is the end of the end. I think last Phoenix locked in. Fire minions already pouring into the basin. Envo, they're going to try and mount their last defense. They're going to have to find someone real quick, because if Robin can just go on their carries, it's going to be very rough for them. Thor takes to the sky, and now a sprint, and Epiphany continuing to play this game intelligently, going to split up.
I love the sprint in response to the Thor ultimate. You can run out of the way, and Thor, he's going to have to use his Aegis, and Sanctuary saves the life of the jungler one more time. Great initiation from Kala, but nobody else is around. Meanwhile, Titan is down for the count. Game number 1 goes the way of Epiphany Bolt as Envo Clan falls one more time here in the semifinals.
I just want to kind of talk about the end of that game there. Robin uses Mystic Rush into the Titan with no minions. He actually wanted to 1v1 the Titan.
1v1v, bro.
That's how far ahead he was. But no, in all reality, Robin played a great game. He got ahead and really abused the character's advantages, picks up the breastplate, gets the CDR, just constant onslaughts, and just being a nuisance in the back line.
Why don't we take a look at where it started? It was on the other side of the map. Hayzer started things off for Team Envo, and everybody sort of thought, all right, Hayzer got the Ho-Yi one more time. Let's see how it works out. Unfortunately, they were down 20k as a Titan fell, so not quite the start, or not quite the finish that the start might have had in mind.
Axioz, though, player of the game on that Robin, no surprise there. Just such a nuisance in the back line. And I think the most important play that we saw from him, and I think it's this one at the end of it, is where it's 4 players versus Axioz, and he gets a kill and almost kills 2 more.
Yeah, I mean this is the play that we were sort of, when is he going to fall? Why is he still fighting? And I mean, look at that, the overhead kick. I love this because we were talking a lot about how powerful this character is, right? And the character definitely is powerful in and of itself, but the play that we saw out of this player was definitely top notch as well. Being able to utilize those overhead kicks for as much as he did, right there one more time, avoiding the stun out of a Thor. I mean, this is great stuff.
Yeah, he had perfect mechanics too. Robin is very strong and hard to play around, especially heading into this first part of Season 3, because no one's really had that much competitive experience against him. I mean, ranked will teach you a little bit, but it's not going to teach you everything, and having the mechanics to really utilize his full kit was important. I think if, honestly, Team Envo had a Soul Laner that was a little bit more like Bellona's good, but the disparity was just too wide. Their Soul Laner was so much more useful than No Numbers. No Numbers couldn't even get into the back line, and when he did, he was constantly chain CC'd out by the ISIS, so it was just rough for him.
Yeah, needed a little bit more togetherness, I guess, out of that squad. But Envo, they did have some shining moments, so we saw a little bit there, here and there. Game number 1 is already in the book. It went the way of Epiphany Bolt. Now, who's taking 2?
Depends on if Robin's banned or not. If
All
Robin
right.
gets through, that team wins. That's my opinion.
Well, we'll see where Robin winds up, if he's on the left, the right, or nowhere at all. Stay tuned. We're bringing you game number 2 in just a moment.